Edwin here, pretty green vinyl guy. Well, I'm week 2 into the VC, and I see I've had some action on my channel. I'm up to 16 subscribers in a week, so that's awesome. I thank all of you for your comments and for your discussion, and I'm looking forward to keeping the energy going. So tonight, Friday night here, West Coast, North America, and very hot on Vancouver Island. Very smoky outside. There's huge forest fires in the interior of our province of British Columbia, and the smoke it's getting blown by the wind thousands of kilometers. It's unbelievable. And anyway, so it's a good night to make a video and talk about music. So tonight I'm going to talk about a guy called Paul Weller, who's just released a new album, A Kind Revolution. But we're going to come back to that, because if you're watching this from Europe or the UK, Brexit, you got to say it that way now. Of course you've heard of Paul Weller. But if you're watching this video in North America, you've they might not even have heard of Paul Weller. So let's have a little history lesson on the Mod Father, as we call him in the UK. So Paul Weller is from Woking, just outside of London, in southwest of London. And his first sort of fame came in 1976. He fronted a band called The Jam. And The Jam were a punk mod revival band. A three-piece, himself, Bruce Foxton on bass, and Rick Butler on drums. I'm going back to my childhood for that. And they were a power trio. They had huge success in the UK. And I believe next to the Beatles, they had the most #1 singles. I'm pretty sure that's right. Which is amazing because, as I said, in North America, I don't think half the continent knew of The Jam. So what you could do, this is readily available in North America and also in Europe and in England. This is The Jam Snap. And this is their basically a greatest hits. It's a double LP. Great chronological listing. All their big hits. In the City, This is the Modern World, News of the World, English Rose, David Watts, which was a Kinks cover. The very famous Down in the Tube Station at Midnight, Going Underground, That's Entertainment, Start, Absolute Beginners, A Town Called Malice, Precious, The Bitterest Pill I Ever Had to Swallow, and their last hit, Beat Surrender. Great album, highly recommend it. Get into some early Paul Weller and The Jam. You won't be disappointed. Great music. So after The Jam, I guess Paul at some point decided that he needed to move on. He needed to try something else. So he got into this sort of soul R&B thing, and he started a band called the Style Council with Mick Talbot. And the Style Council, it's a weird thing. You know, he walked away from huge success in The Jam to do the Style Council. And the Style Council certainly did not have the success of The Jam. But looking back at what they did and the albums that they put out, they definitely had some major hits. And I think the music has aged really well. And probably their biggest hit was You're the Best Thing. Actually, the Style Council did chart in North America better than The Jam, so you may be more familiar, again, if you're from Canada or the US, with the Style Council. And they had several songs also on movie soundtracks back in the 80s, so that also helped to get them out there. And they also performed at Live Aid, so again, saw a big audience. But yeah, these guys were great. I made the transition easily because I just loved Paul Weller, and it didn't matter what he did, I was going to be a fan. And but again, this would be a great way to listen to some Style Council. This is the Singular Adventures. So basically their best of. Again, You're the Best Thing, Monday Go Round, My Ever-Changing Moods, Long Hot Summer, Walls Come Tumbling Down, which is such a great song, Shout to the Top, Speak Like a Child, A Solid Bond in Your Heart, and Promised Land. All great songs. This is a great introduction to the Style Council. And of course, being Paul Weller, he got a little bored of that, and he went on to a solo career. And again, in the UK, his solo career took off really well. Actually, probably put him at a higher respect from the Style Council than his days in the Style Council. Because I don't think a lot of Brits were really happy with the Style Council. They missed the jam, they missed the rock, and he gets back into a bit more rock of feeling in his solo albums. And I can't remember the total solo albums. It's easily up to 8 or 9 at this point. But if you're going to go and find 2, I would say the best 2 to get are his second album, which was Wildwood. The self-titled, the title track, Wildwood, is an absolute masterpiece. One of his best songs ever written. This is a great album. It's written up in the top 500 albums to own. That's how good this is. And Wildwood, Sunflower, The Weaver, Shadow of the Sun, Moon on Your Pyramids. Sorry, Moon on Your Pajamas. The light's not very good in here. Wildwood is an epic album. Highly, highly recommend it. And he followed that with his third album, which is probably his best loved solo album. This is Stanley Road. And this is an absolute gem to own. This is a reissue. The originals go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if you can even find them. People don't want to give this up. But oh, this is such an epic album. So many great songs. Many of the songs he still plays live today. The Changing Man, Porcelain Gods, You Do Something to Me. It's got to be the best love song that you can hear. This is a fantastic album. Again, if you're going to try and get into Paul Weller, Stanley Road, Wildwood, both fantastic. He also has, I've got it on the background now. This is a double. Now there's 2 sets. I have Modern Classics, the first one, on CD. I haven't been able to find it on vinyl. But it has a lot of Wildwood and Stanley Road on it. This is more Modern Classics, which is a second follow-up. And this has a lot of the best of what came after those albums. So even, I know this one is readily available in North America. I haven't been able to find the first one. But yeah, if you just want the hits and sort of, again, get a feel of Paul Weller, this is fantastic. So that brings us to today. He recently, as I said, just released his 25th album, including the Jam and the Style Council. This is A Kind Revolution. And, you know, I've bought every Paul Weller album, and, you know, the last couple have still been good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. But this is a return to form. This is an epic album. Plays really well. Beautifully packaged. Nice gatefold with a nice picture of the Mod Father there with his epic haircut. And in the inside, we'll pull it out. Of course, you get your M3 download code. You get a nice booklet with all the lyrics. This is why we love vinyl, eh? The CDs just don't cut this. iTunes just does not cut this, does it? Looking cool with his sunglasses on there. And Nice little sleeve poster. And then we've got the vinyl itself. So, one interesting track on this is a duet with Boy George. Boy George on the new Paul Weller. And I gotta say, it's a really catchy tune. It really has a sort of a modern electronic, but Paul's voice still brings it back to that kind of soulful rock. So, yeah, I can't say enough about this album. I love it. It's got a lot of great songs. I know the critics love it. I've read quite a bit about it. And yeah, A Kind Revolution by Paul Weller. Check it out. Happy weekend, everybody. Cheers.